Okay everyone, we are going to do part 2 of our AFE intake install. We're going to see what the actual numbers are on the dyno after doing just a intake install. It's I've seen some crazy numbers, and we're going to see what kind of numbers it really makes, because this car is again, it's bone stock now, of course, with the exception of the AFE intake. We're running the blue filter on it. That's the oiled filter. So today will be the day when we see what kind of difference that actually makes. From here on out, we're going to be doing, quite a few more mods. One of the big ones is going to be a supercharger upgrade. I ordered the Magnuson already. It's a 2650. It is going to take 4 to 6 weeks to build. It's only been 4 or 5 days since I've actually ordered it, so that's going to be exciting. I think that's going to be interesting. And I'm also add meth injection. They make a nice little fuel cell for the back of the C7 Corvette, and so I'm going to try to utilize that and set it up that way. I'm also probably going to do 2 separate tunes, one that actually requires meth, and then one where if I'm just cruising around and don't want to have to worry about it, or if I'm going on a long trip, I tend to get into the gas quite a bit, and so I don't want to have to worry about filling that up all the time. So the other thing is swapping the pulley out on the new Charger is pretty simple, and so even running 2 different pulley systems, or 2 different pulleys I should say, that's fine by me too. Swapping that out is not a big deal with the new Charger. So anyway, we're gonna see what this thing can do. Yeah, I also want to add that I don't have a lot of seat time in this car. I bought it maybe a month and a half ago now, and I haven't gotten to experience it much because it's Pennsylvania. It's been really crappy weather, snow on the ground, salt, all that stuff. And so, one of the things with that is that, I don't really get that whole butt dyno feel. I know that I can hear the supercharger a little bit more with this intake on. It's nothing crazy, but you can definitely hear it start to whine up when you first step into the gas. I can definitely hear that more. Whether or not I actually feel a lot more power, I mean, you know how it is, it's sometimes like placebo. So, I feel like I do, but again, I don't have enough driving experience with it like some people might have, doing this kind of an install. So, it's it's going to be interesting to see, what kind of numbers it actually does. I think some of the numbers that I see just seem like, I mean, it's just crazy to me that they're so high. Who knows, what we'll see today, but I'm definitely anxious. And if we see, 30 horsepower to the tire, I think that's pretty incredible for an intake only, and no tune, no changes, no other changes whatsoever. So, but about to see, and probably, hopefully here, like, I'll be there in about 5 minutes, and whatever it takes to set it up, and hopefully it doesn't have anything else on the dyno. Alright, so we're going to have a little bit of a delay here. We just got diverted by an accident. You see emergency vehicle over here. But anyway, wasn't sure this GoPro might have messed up, so I'm just going to kind of say again that, what's going on down here? Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to say again that, I don't have a lot of seat time with this car, and, therefore, my butt dyno may not be very well in tune. Some people get a lot of time with these cars ahead of time before doing these modifications. I didn't get that because of bad weather and, snow and salt and all that good stuff on the roads. And so, I started to say that, I could feel a little bit of a difference, or I should say I could hear a little bit of a difference in the supercharger. I can definitely hear it a little bit more. It's nothing crazy, but you can definitely hear that whine, as you start to put your foot into the gas, a little bit more than I could hear before, or at least a little bit more than I noticed before. But as far as, does it seem like it has more power? It does, but again, I didn't get to spend much time with it. So am I, you know, is it just like a placebo effect? Maybe, you know. But you know, once we get on the dyno, we'll see. Because if it adds, you know, I would say 20 horse or more, you're gonna feel 20 horsepower, and you'll certainly feel 30 or anything more, you know, anything more than that. You know, 5 or 10, I'm not so sure you're gonna feel anything really when you're talking about the numbers that these cars already put out. Feeling too. I was saying it to myself before.
That was fifth.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so put it on the dyno, and they were both 5th gear pulls, which the last time we did it, the first pull was a 6th gear pull, which ended up getting a little bit more torque, but also got it got more less horsepower, more torque. The second run last time we did in 5th gear, and it got more horsepower, landed at 555 horsepower, and the torque was a little bit off. I forget what it was. But anyway, this time, the first pull, and I'm gonna obviously have the video in here, but the first pull, it had, you could almost hear it like start to fall off in the middle of the run, and kind of like flattened out, and then before it kind of ramped back up. And so that pull, and he wasn't really looking at the laptop to kind of go back and look at, you know, spark and fuel and all that stuff. And so anyway, it put down, that was a 5th gear pull, 547 horsepower, which coincidentally happened to be the same number on this 6th gear pull last time I was there. So anyway, the second run, he pulled the laptop in there so he could kind of see what was going on. And this time I noticed that it didn't seem to flatten out as much in the run. I actually was, unfortunately, I had hit something wrong on the camera, so I caught the end of the run. But that one ended up putting up 562 horsepower. So it only picked up 7 with the intake. And that was also a 5th gear pull. But one of the things that he noticed is that it was, you know, there was some knock. It picked up some knock, and it started to fall off a little bit. Now, as far as what I could hear, it definitely didn't fall off as much as the first run. But when you looked on the graph, you could see it basically went up and started to go lean. And So what that's pretty much telling me is that, you know, some of the videos that I've seen is, you know, no tune, you know, they'll pick up a bunch of power and you know, whatever. I think that that's probably possible, that, you know, you see these things pick up, you know, 20, 30, you know, maybe even 40 horsepower. Today, right now, it's only 62 degrees, so you know, it's not like it's super warm or anything like that. It's also not super cold, but you know, I'm running 93. It's just, you know, pump gas, but it is 93. We're in Pennsylvania, you can't get 93 here. Like I said, with it running lean like that and you know, picking up knock right away, it's pulling timing, and so you're not going to get those big numbers out of it. And like I said, even on the first or I'm sorry, the second pull, where it did pick up, you know, picked up 7 compared to my best run last time. It, you know, had it not pulled timing, you know, who knows what it would have put up. But at the end of the day, putting one of these on, what I'm seeing is you should definitely be prepared to tune, because it's definitely, you know, leaning it out basically, and you don't want to do that. It wasn't like real bad, like you couldn't actually hear the knocking or anything like that, but you know, bad enough that it's pulling the timing out of there. So my advice would be, if you're going to make these kind of changes with these cars, I would you know, I would go ahead and you know, make sure you have a tune done. Maybe get a few other, you know, if you're doing some other mods, get those things in order, because tuning isn't cheap. So make sure that you kind of have at least most of the stuff done that you want to have done when you're going to add those things. But yeah, so anyway, the outcome pretty much is that it, you know, it picked up 7 at the tire with the AFE intake, blue filter, but you know, like I said, started to run lean and pull timing out. So you know, it's definitely, I'm sure with a tune, it's probably worth some really good power, but you're definitely going to need that tune, in my opinion. So hope that helps.